We've been traveling on Route 191 through Utah, heading north. We've now entered Wyoming a little while back. And this road has been one of the most scenic I've ever seen. We passed through Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area, and now we're a little north of that on our way to Boulder, Wyoming. And I just wanted to stop and get a little picture of this. We have some snow on the cliffs. This doesn't even come close to grasping what it's like here, but you can see the Uinta Mountains in the distance there with the snow on top. Those peaks are over 13,000 feet. We drove nearby those. And there's this incredible valley here. We drove past these fault lines with rocks literally vertical, pushed up from the earth. Incredible, incredible scenery. This is Wyoming, southwestern Wyoming. Down in this valley, you have the red rock. Welcome to Wyoming. We'll be heading up that road in a minute. And here's one more view on the Flaming Gorge, Green River, scenic byway in Wyoming, Route 191. There's the road we came up. A little bit of snow left up there. What incredible wide open space. We're here at a roadside turnout on Route 191 North, about 10 miles south of Boulder, Wyoming. And this is Sand Springs, which was a stop here on the Oregon Trail. There was water available. The Lander Road, which I believe is actually the wagon tracks far in the distance there. This sign tells us a little bit about the history of the road, which was the first federally funded road built west of the Mississippi. And it looks like this began to be put into use about 1859. There is the Oregon Trail in the distance right there. Heading west. Here we have the Lander Road. That was a cutoff on the Oregon Trail. They say you could easily see 300 wagons and thousands of horses and mules and many people, of course, traveling this road. The Oregon Trail. The Lander Cutoff. Amazing. Here, right intersecting Route 191. In Wyoming, just south of Boulder. Amazing to picture it. Look in the other direction. And there's our RV parked right on the Oregon Trail. Incredible. This is our first view of Fremont Lake, which is in the foothills of the Wind River Range on the western side, just outside Pinedale, Wyoming. We'll be camped here for 2 nights, and we'll see what adventures that brings. We just arrived at our campsite. Today's day is just to relax by the lake. It's a little bit blustery today. No big activities planned. Tomorrow we hope to go up the Skyline Drive to the Sacred Rim Trail and hike that. The weather's a little questionable tomorrow. But right now we're here, wonderfully quiet. I'm going to see if I can find a path down to the lake. Beautiful stand of aspirin right here. I think we can pick our way down there. Let's give it a shot. Looks like a slight little trail has been made here from other campers, and apparently this fire got a little bit out of control before it was put out. Oh! All right, and bingo, just like that, we're down at the lake. Well, this is a place where, oh, these fires look like they were set perhaps intentionally. There's quite a few around here. Maybe they had some infested trees, I don't know. At any rate, we have our bear spray at the ready in this area. In the Green River Range, and we get to the Tetons. Okay, so that was our journey, stumbling along here down to the lake. Welcome to Fremont Lake, Wyoming. The sun has popped out a little bit, so we're taking a late afternoon stroll through the aspens in the campground here. Fremont Lake Campground. And there is a beach down here to the left. Maybe we'll take a look at that. This campground is just immersed in the aspens here. They're everywhere. The leaves are just coming out. It's June 2nd. To our right is the boat launch, and we have a little sign here at the boat launch, so we're going to take this trail down and see where it goes. Natural bench. Crystal clear water here.
The water looks so clean.
Yeah. We have driven up the Skyline Drive here in Wyoming at Fremont Lake, and this is the overlook that they say, do not miss this drive, do not miss this overlook. But today we didn't hit the best weather, so Right here is the interpretive marker of the Wind River Range. Oh boy, I mean, it is really beautiful even so, looking down on these lakes. And here we have the sign that tells us all the different mountains. I'm looking for Gannett right now. But anyway, I don't see Gannett on this. If we look out here, that's what we have. So it has a certain beauty, but we're not seeing the peaks of that Wind River Range right now. I was going to hike the trail that goes to a beautiful overlook, but this weather wasn't conducive to that. Right over here on our left, I believe this is the north end of Fremont Lake. I'm not sure about that. I have to double check that. But I know the Skyline Drive pretty much parallels Fremont Lake. All right, so we're kind of on top of the world here. Out there in the distance, probably not visible too well here, is the Wyoming range, which is the other range that runs up this area. And Pinedale being in the valley between the two. So tomorrow we'll be heading out that way to Grand Teton National Park. All right. The Skyline Drive, essentially Pinedale, Wyoming. Yeah,
over here.
We pulled over here at a overlook of the Fremont Lake on the Skyline Drive. The last 3.5 miles or so of that road was dirt, so they're repaving or something, so that was another little surprise. But what a view of the lake here. And now you can see those Wyoming range mountains a little better in the distance. Clouds are a little higher in that direction. In fact, I see the sun coming out to the left here. So this here is Fremont Lake. And in those green trees right there at the shoreline, that's our campground right in there. Beautiful overlook here. What we're doing here is we are driving on Father de Smet Road, trying to find a historic mass site here in Wyoming, just east of Daniel. And we're driving along this dirt road, and there are free-range cows everywhere, which is interesting. But this site that we're trying to find is the site of the first Mass in Wyoming, celebrated by Father de Smet. And there are about 2,000 Indians and trappers, visitors, other people at this first Mass in Wyoming at this beautiful site, where they would have rendezvous every year with the fur trappers and the Native Indian Americans. And they did that until about 1840. I just don't want to hit any cows here.
It's all the baby calves.
And they do celebrate Mass still here at this beautiful site at the confluence of the Green River and the Horse Creek. They celebrate Mass here every July on the second Sunday, and it's attended by many, many people each year. So we're going to try to visit this site. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, and here is the sign that lets us know we're on the right path.
The Smet Monument.
The Smet Monument straight ahead.
Hold on.
Let's go.
Wait.
So here is the altar where the first Mass was celebrated in 1840 here in Wyoming. And as I said, every year it is celebrated again on the second Sunday in July, after the 4th of July. And here it is, the altar, Father de Smet, 1840, July 5th. About 2,000 people attended, many Native Americans, fur trappers, and others. Incredible. The beautiful scenery here. I know it's very windy, but let's take a look out here. Hopefully we can block some of that wind. If you could just picture, they would have rendezvous of thousands of Native Americans and trappers out here in these lands right in front of us. They had about 16 of those rendezvous, and 6 were right here at this spot. The others were in different areas. We're going to step out into the wind, but right there on the right, you may see the junction of the Horse Creek and the Green River. Right here, Horse Creek and Green River coming together. So we're going to step out into the stormy winds and let's take a peek. Look at this land. Just try to picture the scene of all those Native Americans and the animals and the beauty of it all, and the fur trappers. What a scene. In this direction, that's the Wind River Range in the background. Father de Smet, beloved Jesuit priest, missionary from Belgium. He was involved in 16 treaties with the Native Americans. From what I've read, he was very much beloved by the tribes. Okay, so wow, that was stormy out there. Okay, we're gonna head on now over toward Jackson, Wyoming.